Well, you've seen the greatest moments, but what about biggest fuck-ups? Normally, I would be content into diving into any random subject, but the only thing we're diving into right now is shit. Even though I'm usually pretty successful in my work, I have made mistakes in the past, just like any human would. So, it's time to take a look at my biggest mistakes ever. It's not gonna smell good, so take a deep breath and let's get going. Alright, let's start this off with one of my least popular videos, which happens to be a project that I'm merely on the fence about. Super Mario vs. Sonic the Hedgehog. Yes, I shit you not. I have, in fact, done a versus rant before. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I did get a shitload of inspiration from Josh when I first started out. I've always loved his versus rants, and the idea of making one of those myself was just crazy to think back then. So, in early 2011, I decided to make a versus rant of my very own, and it's nothing special. Like I said, I'm on the fence about this video. While the editing is utter shit compared to what I do today, it actually wasn't that bad at the time. When I first made this rant, I was just starting to get into video making. My style just wasn't established yet. As a result, I borrowed too heavily from Josh's formula, to the point where it was just downright stale. Not to mention, the mic quality in the video is atrocious. Aside from it being really loud, the mic I used during this project somehow altered the way I sounded completely. To save you an in-depth description, I sounded downright retarded. This video may be a huge low point for me, but I would still say it's at least watchable. Though, don't expect to get entertained at all. Maybe I'll start doing versus rants sometime again. I don't know how they would turn out, but I'm sure they'd be better than this one. While on the subject of Mario, let's take a look at another one of my Mario-related videos. Better yet, how about a countdown about his franchise? In case any of you are curious, the very first video I ever made was Top 10 Super Mario Games. Since this was when I had no fucking clue how to edit a video properly, this obviously turned out to be a text countdown. Since it was my first video, it's perfectly excusable. The remake, however, was utter shit. Now, I seriously don't know what wrong with this video. Even though the original was text and this one was vocal, I managed to make it even worse. It's like I took lessons from Hollywood. I had an opportunity to make something really special out of an old project, but I somehow fucked it up way beyond my original intentions. Now, I've heard that some people actually like this list. Well, that's fine with me, but you have to agree that it could have been way better. I personally didn't find my scripting in this video to be that good. Not only did I sound boring as fuck, but I also elaborated poorly as well. Sure, I went over the basic gist for each entry, but I barely talked about any personal reasons why I like any of the games shown on the list. In a nutshell, I sounded like I didn't even care throughout the whole video. And oh my god, the mic quality. Have you ever heard what a megaphone sandwiched between an industrial-powered fan and Ben Stein sounds like? Well, watch this video and hear for yourself. I will eventually remake this list, but for now, it remains at the number 9 spot on this shit platter. Now, here's where things get interesting. Because, unlike the previous two entries, this video actually wasn't made that long ago. I really didn't want to put this on the fuck-ups list, but due to majority rules, I have no choice but to put it on here. Top 10 E3 2012 announcements. Okay, this, along with another entry down the list, is one of the few choices on the list that I honestly don't agree with. Considering the fact that I was talking about games with little information known about them, I think I did considerably well. Even so, there are still a good chunk of viewers out there that thought this list was utter garbage. And quite frankly, I have no idea why. I've heard a lot of comments saying that this list was rushed, and that I had nothing interesting to say in the video. I've read other comments that said I was not acting like my normal self at all in the video. Oh really now? Are you really gonna give me stupid shit like that? Did I not sound like my normal self? Are you trolling me or what? No. I know what the real reason why people voted for this. It's because you can't accept the fact that I have all the editing knowledge of JonTron and superb editing software to boot. Ooh, I shook the screen. I know how to use toggle animation keyframes. You gonna call the cops on me or something? Okay, yes, I used one of his lines, but I delivered it in such a nutcase fashion that it makes it as a fucking obvious joke. Also, I shit you not, a few people actually labeled me as the next irate gamer. Are you fucking kidding me? Now, I know most of you liked the list and didn't give me shit like this, but there was unfortunately a small handful of people that saw this as a fuck up. Like I said, I don't agree at all, but votes are votes. Now, let's move on to the next entry before I have a fucking stroke. Okay, like I exemplified before, Top 100 Favorite Pokemon is nothing short of my best work. There was so much analysis, so much humor, and even a few moments with sentimental meaning. Yeah, throughout most of the list, I barely made any mistakes. And if I did, it was usually kept under the radar. However, there was one part of the list that simply couldn't be overlooked. During the Gengar segment of the final part, I made a slight mistake that not many people noticed. So I present Gengar fairly well, talk about my nostalgia, yada yada yada. Then, all of a sudden, Morty and Mahogany Town... What? Are you fucking joking? Did I really say that? Okay, when rendering the final part of the top 100, I seriously didn't notice this. I'm not sure exactly why I thought Morty was from Mahogany Town, but I'll try and explain. Prior to the top 100, the last time I played Pokemon Silver was around 2005, and since I was using footage from the original Silver, I guess I just spat out that random phrase. I think the main reason I made this mistake was because in the original Gold and Silver, I always confused Morty with Price. You see, I distinguish gym leaders mostly by their hairstyles. A little bit weird, I know, but whatever. And since Morty and Price's hair looks ridiculously similar, this caused me to make this mistake. Either that, or I was just being a dumbass. Either way, it's still a mistake nonetheless. Morty from Mahogany Town. Next entry. For a quick second, let's talk about my intros. Oh man, my intros. If the first thing that everybody associates me with isn't despising Charizard, it's probably the fact that I go crazy with my intros. Considering the fact that I've remixed my intro 13 times, my intros are definitely distinguishable. My intros range from a mess of footage edited in Windows Movie Maker to appropriately synced footage clips featuring sync sound effects and sporadic chaos. For the most part, I get feedback like, "Whoa, nice intro, man." However, there are a lot of spectators of mine that simply can't stand them. Whether they complain about the length, claim that the sound effects are useless, or just have a problem with intros in general. Some people think it's utter torture. But would you believe me if I said my intro used to be worse? You think 40 seconds of music and sound effects is bad? How about you try a 90-second intro with bland transitions and having multiple songs that don't even fit? Yeah, that would be my second intro. Okay, seriously, what the fuck was I snorting when I made this shit? Okay, for all of you who don't know, my very first intro was around 30 seconds long. So, how the fuck did I go from that to this? What was I even thinking? It was as if I wanted to waste your fucking time. Like, my god, it's a fucking mess. Thank God I found better editing software. For all of you who think my current intro is a complete waste of your time, just remember that it was far worse than what it is now. I have nothing left to say about this one. Let's move on. Okay, this list sucked. Top 10 Legend of Zelda games is easily one of the worst countdowns I've ever made. Let's lift off the reasons why. bland editing, horrible voice work, shit mic quality, barely any elaboration whatsoever, and an overall crappy feel to it. Hell, my #1 spot was basically just a 5-minute music video. A shitty music video. Not only was the list terribly made, but I also did something utterly shameful. Not only did the #1 spot drone on, but I also used footage from Josh Scorcher's Wind Waker montage. I really hate this video, and I highly recommend that you stay away from it. It's not even worth a second of your time. Don't worry, I will remake this list eventually with more time put towards it, but until then, it remains one of the worst countdowns I've ever made. You know how I mentioned that there was another entry on this list that I don't agree with? Well, this is it. Top 10 Worst Unova Pokemon. Okay, before I go into detail about this, my collaborator has a message for all of you who voted for this video.
Hey, fuck you.
You feel better now?
Yeah, I kinda do actually.
Hey, mind helping me out with this segment?
Yeah, I guess.
I'm gonna go ahead and take a wild guess and say that the majority of people who voted for this were Gen 1ers.
Most of the comments we get on this countdown are mostly complaints, whether it be about bad acting, bashing Gen 1 for its unspeakable amount of unoriginality, or complaining about my voice. Whatever the case, we get nothing but bullshit on both ends of the list.
For a start, I'll just say this. It's perfectly fine if you like the Pokemon. There's nothing wrong with having an opinion. However, that doesn't mean you have to make up bullshit about these Pokemon. Seriously, how the fuck is Alamomola a physical wall? Ooh, a base 80 defense. I can see all the shuckles blushing right now.
Sure, if you're lucky, you might pass on a wish to another team member, meaning that wish will restore a crap load of health. But you better pray that your opponent doesn't use a special attack. Even Piplup has better special defense than that piece of shit.
Ew, it's a physical wall, not a special wall. You noobs don't know shit. Oh yeah? Well, if that's the case, then you're also calling Stunfisk a physical wall, as it has better defense than this abomination. Another complaint that we constantly hear about is when we brought up the fact that Gen 1 had the design of an upside-down Pokeball. Okay, yes. We meant to put an image of Electrode, but I made the mistake of putting an image of Voltorb in its place. While it is a mistake on our part, you whiners are wasting your time trying to convince us. Not to mention, Voltorb's design is even worse than Electrode, as it's just a Pokeball with eyes. It's even more tacky than an upside-down Pokeball.
We could go on and on about every fucking entry, but it would take way too much time. Also, do you guys have a problem with my voice or something? My guess is that 90% of the people who complain about my voice are cowardly hacks that are too afraid to have their voice be heard on the internet. My voice may not be the most pleasant sound on earth, but at least I have the balls to even try to get my voice heard in the first place. Not to mention, I wrote that entire script for the countdown. Let's see you whiners top that!
Well, I think we've said enough, don't you think? Thanks for helping me out.
No problem.
I hate you! I hope you die!
I gotta go. There's another Totodile fanboy at the door.
Don't forget the shovel. Remember what happened last time.
Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me.
Get over here, bitch!
While Ben is mutilating another annoying fanboy, let's move on to the next entry. Now, you know how a lot of my videos nowadays are of fairly good quality? Well, you gotta remember, not everyone has a smooth start. Case in point, my very first vocal countdown, also known as Top 10 Most Hated Video Game Characters. Now, some would argue that this doesn't count. After all, it is my very first vocal countdown I ever made. True, this sort of situation could be excusable in most cases. However, there are many things I did wrong with this video. Mainly because I had no fucking idea how to make a vocal countdown at the time. Well, there's the obvious fact that I used Windows Movie Maker, but there were so many other things I did wrong with this list. First off, the mic quality was terrible, much like my other early vocal projects. It's not as bad as Top 10 Super Mario games, but it's still dreadful. Second, I barely had any original lines. Just about every line had at least some words taken from the Autarch of Flame. Yes, even I did that at one point. And even though I've learned a lot since then, I still feel horrible about doing it. My apologies, Alex. And probably the biggest mistake I made was the fact that I had no script whatsoever. Yes, I shit you not. It was my very first vocal countdown, and I tackled it without a script. Oh my God, what was I thinking with this video? Yeah, I know it was my very first vocal countdown, but it was still horribly made, even if it was my very first. Well, thankfully for all of you, the remake is far better. So, do yourself a favor and just stay away from the original list. It'll save you about 10 minutes of your life. Okay, as everyone knows, countdowns are what I do best. I put so much work into my countdowns, it's not even funny. And most of the time, the countdowns I put out are mostly of high quality. You want to know why they end up being so well made? It's because I put so much time into making them. If you put time and effort into something, something worthwhile will be produced. Now, if only the same thing could be said about my unfinished Let's Plays. Oh man, I really fucked up here. Okay, just about everybody who watched my Metroid Fusion LP will probably agree I know how to do a Let's Play. You play, you talk, you be informative. You know, just be entertaining. So, when I finally finished Metroid Fusion, I wondered, how about I do more of these? This one turned out okay, so how about I try another? Little did I know that Metroid Fusion would have ended up being the only Let's Play that I ever properly finished. So, after that, I tried to do a Let's Play of Metroid Zero Mission. I randomly stopped. So, I also tried Mega Man Extreme. I randomly stopped. Then I tried Pokemon Silver. Once again, I randomly stopped. Seriously, what the fuck happened? Why did I just randomly stop making them? Like, seriously, I have no idea what I was thinking. Did I just get bored or something? Well, that's a good excuse. For the select few of you who actually liked those Let's Plays, I truly do apologize for that. Don't worry, I will hop back on Let's Plays eventually. And next time, I'll make sure to finish them properly. Now, even though not finishing Let's Plays was a huge mistake on my part, it's not even close to being as bad as number 1 is. What could it... Why am I even prolonging it? You know what it is already. You all knew this would be number 1. And quite frankly, I'm very happy that all of you voted for this. Out of all the things I fucked up with, they don't even compare to top 10 most overrated Pokemon. Oh my lord, I fucking hate this video. I really, really do. Out of all my videos, this is the one I simply can't stand. This countdown has just about everything wrong with the video. Horrible reasoning, poor elaboration, awful jokes, and quite frankly, I sound like a fucking immature noob in this video. The main problem I have with this video is that I didn't elaborate well enough. Hell, I barely elaborated at all. Which is a horrible mistake when bringing up a controversial topic like this. Like Lucario, for example. The only thing I did was complain about how his voice sounded. Like, are you fucking joking? Why the hell did I think that was a good idea? Another example is the Celebi entry. All I brought up was how he was the mascot of Cerebi.net. Granted, I wasn't aware that it was a fan-made website at the time, but still, I had no excuse to bring up shit like that up. And guess what? That's basically the whole video. Just me complaining about Pokemon in a repugnantly immature tone of voice. The only part I legitimately thought was decent was when I was talking about Gyarados and how he's overused by so many NPCs. Other than that, there is no redeeming factor about this video. It's poorly made, I don't have anything interesting to say in it, and it's definitely my biggest fuck up. Some people say that they actually like this video. Well, good for you. Just because I hate it doesn't mean you have to. While I utterly hate this video, I'm actually very glad it was made. If you're wondering what I mean, allow me to explain. When I uploaded this video in mid-2011, I decided to send this video to the Autarch of Flame. I figured, Why not? It's not like he's gonna enjoy it or anything. Might as well give it a shot. So after I sent it to him, I decided to kill some time. After a couple of hours, I decided to check if I had any comments. So when I saw that my video had the view glitch, I decided to check if I had any new subscribers. It turns out that the Autarch of Flame legitimately liked the video, and he even subscribed to me. As a result, my subscriber count jumped from 90 to 1,500 in just a few hours. Once that happened, I got a massive jolt of confidence. Then I continued to make more, and I ultimately reached where I am now. I know that I owe an immense amount of thanks to Alex for the support of this video, but here's just something to think about. Even though I hate how this video turned out, I'm absurdly glad that I made it. Why? Because if I didn't make it, I wouldn't still be making videos anymore, and you wouldn't even know about me. Everything would be different if this wasn't made. This video changed not only my YouTube channel, but also my entire life. That's no exaggeration. This video might suck, but it's the reason I got anywhere in the first place. It's not just a shitty video, it's the biggest event in the history of my YouTube channel. Sure, we all hate it, but every one of my subscribers should just know how important it is. It may be my biggest fuck up, but at the same time, it's also my most important achievement. Huh. Maybe the video isn't so bad after all. It still sucks.
What the fuck is that outside? Oh shit, it's right over there on the doorway! Oh fuck! What is it? It's nothing, it's just fucking air!